When you look at an old tire sitting on the curb, you probably see garbage. But plenty of smart people look at that same tire and see real money. Here's a wild fact. Around 1 billion tires get thrown away across the world every single year. They don't rot away like paper or wood. They sit there for centuries, taking up space and causing pollution. Most cities and local governments have no real plan for dealing with them. That confusion is exactly where regular people step in and start earning. Some buy old tires for almost nothing. Others actually get paid by repair shops just to haul them off. Either way, your main material costs you little or nothing before you even begin. Today, we're breaking down 9 businesses built entirely on old tires. Stick around for the final 3, because that's where the biggest paydays are hiding.
This video is just for informational and educational purposes only. We do not guarantee income or results. Success depends on individual efforts, skills, and market conditions.
Number 9. Industrial furniture and decor. Picture an old tire turned into a chair someone actually wants in their living room. Sounds strange, right? But this little corner of the recycling world is quietly making people good money. The idea is simple. You take a used tire, clean it up, cut it into shape, and dress it up with fabric, rope, or a wooden top. Suddenly, you've got an armchair, a coffee table, a giant planter, or even a cozy dog bed. And here's the thing, you don't need a warehouse full of machinery to get started. A few basic tools, some creativity, and a bit of patience are enough to make your first piece. Since the raw material practically costs nothing, your profit margin ends up being huge once you add design, fabric, or finishing touches. Who's buying these? Think themed restaurants, auto shops wanting cool decor, trendy office spaces, barber shops, and homeowners who like the eco-friendly look. The best part about this business is how easily it grows with you. You could start this weekend in your garage, post a few photos online, see what people respond to, and once orders start rolling in, bring on a small team to handle bigger batches. It's low risk, low cost to enter, and the demand for unique, sustainable furniture just keeps climbing every year. Number 8. High-resistance shoe soles. Shoe brands everywhere are scrambling to go green, and tire rubber happens to be exactly what they're looking for. It's tough, it lasts forever, and it costs practically nothing to source. Making soles out of tires does take a little more skill than furniture though. First, workers strip away the tread section, flatten it out, and then run it through a press fitted with specific molds shaped like soles. What comes out the other end is a sole that's nearly indestructible. Companies making heavy-duty work boots or rugged hiking shoes are especially interested, and they're willing to pay well for rubber that can survive years of wear. Some entrepreneurs have taken this even further, building entire shoe brands from the ground up using nothing but recycled tire rubber as their foundation. And it's not just about the product either. The story behind it sells itself. Customers hear "made from recycled tires" and immediately feel good about the purchase, like they're doing something for the planet while getting a shoe built to outlast anything from a regular store. That combination, a strong eco-friendly story paired with a genuinely durable product made from nearly free raw material, is what makes this niche so appealing. It's marketing and quality working together without needing a massive advertising budget behind it. Number 7. Flooring for gyms and weightlifting areas. Ever notice the thick black flooring under the squat racks at a CrossFit gym? That's recycled tire rubber, and it's a bigger business than most people realize. Getting into this one requires a real investment upfront, mainly a shredding machine. Once you have that, the process runs like this. Tires go in, the machine strips away the steel belting, and rubber granules come out the other side. From there, those granules get mixed with a strong polyurethane adhesive and pressed into square molds using heat. The finished tiles get sold by the square meter, and gyms don't have much choice but to buy this type of flooring. It's often required by safety codes, it looks clean and professional, and it can handle heavy weights being dropped on it daily without cracking. Beyond gyms, this same flooring shows up in horse stables, protecting the joints of expensive animals, and in factory work areas, where standing all day takes a toll on workers. What makes this business attractive is the volume. A single new gym opening in your area might order hundreds of square meters in one purchase. That's not some small side project. That's a serious contract landing all at once. Get a few gyms or stables as regular clients, and you've built yourself a steady, repeatable income stream. Before number 6, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We are aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers, and your support truly makes the difference. Number 6. Rubber mulch for landscaping. You know that layer of material spread around trees and garden beds in parks? Most people assume it's just wood chips. And for years, that's exactly what it was. But wood bark has problems. It breaks down fast, fades under the sun, draws in bugs, and homeowners end up replacing it year after year, spending money every single season. This is where that same shredder from earlier comes back into play. You take old tires, shred them down, clean up the rubber, and run it through industrial dye, red, brown, green, black, whatever color someone wants. The result holds its color for years without falling apart. It won't rot, termites won't touch it, mold doesn't grow on it, and it actually helps soil hold moisture better than wood ever did. Who wants this stuff? Playgrounds need it, schools order it, city parks departments buy it constantly, and plenty of regular homeowners request it by the truckload once they realize how little maintenance it needs. Here's the real win though. Land just one contract with your local city government to maintain their parks and playgrounds, and suddenly, you've got months of guaranteed income without chasing new customers constantly. That kind of steady, repeat business is rare, and it's exactly why this niche keeps quietly making people money in the background. Wait until you hear what's under every soccer field you've ever played on. Number 5. Infill for artificial turf fields. Watch any football, soccer, or rugby match these days, and there's a good chance it's being played on artificial turf instead of real grass. Makes sense, it's cheaper to maintain long-term. But fake grass alone is brutal to fall on. Without something underneath to soften the impact, players end up scraped up or worse. That's where tiny black rubber pellets come in, scattered all through the turf fibers to cushion every tackle and slide. And we're not talking small quantities here. Each field needs tons of this material, which makes it a genuinely lucrative niche if you can supply it. Sports construction companies need enormous amounts on a regular basis, and they need it precise. Your job would be shredding tires down to something close to coarse sand, then running it through magnetic separators to strip out every last trace of metal before it gets bagged up. Once it's clean and properly sized, it gets packaged into large 1-ton sacks ready for delivery. Think about how many new indoor soccer facilities or turf fields open up in a mid-sized city every year. Land contracts with just a couple of those projects, and you could realistically cover your entire year's income from rubber infill alone. It's a niche most people never even think about. Number 4. Building blocks and sound insulation. Construction is a massive industry, moving trillions of dollars annually, and right now, governments everywhere are pushing builders toward more sustainable materials. That pressure is creating opportunity. When shredded rubber gets blended with cement and certain polymers, it forms building blocks that behave differently than standard concrete. They're lighter to work with, they flex slightly instead of cracking during earthquakes, and they block sound and heat far better than traditional blocks ever could. That last part matters a lot to builders. Apartment complexes, hotels, recording studios, anywhere noise control matters, construction companies pay serious money trying to soundproof those spaces properly. Offer them rubber-based panels or blocks, and you're solving 2 headaches at once, cutting their material costs while handing them eco-certifications that boost the resale value of the whole building. There's another angle too. These same rubber blocks get used along highways as sound barriers, absorbing traffic noise before it reaches nearby neighborhoods. Anyone who's lived near a busy road knows how much that kind of barrier actually matters to daily life. This isn't some tiny side hustle either, it's tied directly into an industry that never stops building. As more cities mandate greener construction materials by law, demand for rubber-infused blocks is only going to keep climbing higher. This next one isn't for hobbyists, this is where the real contracts start. Number 3. Tire-derived fuel, TDF. Now we're moving into serious territory. This isn't about selling to a local shop anymore. This is about supplying massive corporations that burn through fuel around the clock. Cement plants and paper mills need constant heat to keep their kilns running, and traditionally, they've relied on coal to do it. But coal is heavy, costly, and dirty. Tire rubber, it turns out, burns hotter and produces more energy than coal does, which makes it a genuinely better option for these industries. To get into this space, you'd need a heavy-duty industrial shredder, the kind powerful enough to shake the floor when it starts up. Truck tires, tractor tires, car tires, all of it gets fed in and chopped down into fist-sized chunks. And here's something interesting. You don't even need to remove the steel first. Just cut it to size and it's ready to go. Cement companies will buy this material by the thousands of tons, week after week, because it's simply cheaper than coal for them. Their kilns run so hot that any harmful emissions get destroyed in the process, and the leftover steel just melts down inside. The contracts in this space run into 7 figures and beyond. Land one solid factory relationship, and that single client could absorb your entire month's production without you needing to look for anyone else. Number 2. Rubber-modified asphalt. Take a drive through pretty much any city and you'll see it. Cracked roads, potholes everywhere, streets that governments repair over and over at massive expense. Normal asphalt is rigid, and rigid materials crack under constant pressure from heavy trucks, heat, and rain. Here's where things get interesting. When you grind tire rubber down until it's as fine as powder and blend it into hot asphalt, the pavement actually becomes elastic. Trucks and cars drive over it, the surface gives slightly under the weight, then bounces right back into shape instead of cracking apart. On top of that, roads built this way cut traffic noise nearly in half and drain rainwater much faster, which means fewer accidents during storms. This is quickly becoming the standard for how roads get built going forward. Selling this fine rubber powder to paving companies is about as close to guaranteed income as recycling gets. Transportation departments in dozens of countries are now legally requiring a certain percentage of recycled rubber in new highway projects. These aren't small private jobs either. They're public contracts with enormous budgets attached. Honestly, your biggest challenge in this business won't be finding buyers. It'll be finding enough old tires fast enough to keep up with how much construction companies actually want. Number 1 on this list is quietly making people millionaires, and almost nobody talks about it. Number 1. Pyrolysis, turning garbage into oil. And here we are, the business creating actual millionaires inside the recycling world. Pyrolysis. It sounds complicated, but the idea behind it is simple once you break it down. A tire starts out as petroleum, so what happens if you apply intense heat while removing all the oxygen around it? Nothing burns. Instead, the tire slowly melts and breaks apart back into the raw materials it was originally made from. Here's how it works. Tons of tires go into a sealed industrial reactor, heated up to around 400 degrees, and 3 valuable materials come out the other side. First is fuel oil, essentially a synthetic diesel that factories, ship engines, and industrial boilers will buy directly from you. Second is synthetic gas, which actually powers the reactor itself, cutting your own energy costs down significantly. Third is carbon black, a fine powder used in plastics, cables, ink, and even new tires, and manufacturers pay well for it. Even the leftover steel from inside the tires gets pulled out clean and sold straight to foundries by weight. Yes, setting up a proper pyrolysis plant costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, permits included. But some operations recover their entire investment in under a year of running continuously. What most people call trash sitting in a landfill, this business quietly turns into oil, steel, and coal, and that's exactly why it sits at number 1. We keep complaining about pollution, about landfills stacked with old tires rotting away for decades. And yes, that's a real problem. But flip it around for a second, because that same pile of junk is actually one of the cheapest raw materials on the entire planet, just sitting there waiting for someone to use it. You don't need to start with a $500,000 pyrolysis plant. You could start this weekend just collecting tires from local shops. You could start next week cutting rubber and building furniture in your garage. You could save up for a small shredder and start selling flooring to gyms in your city. The money isn't hiding somewhere exotic. It's piled up outside auto shops, collecting rainwater and mosquitoes, waiting for someone to actually look at it differently. More people are catching on that those dirty black tires sitting on the curb are basically a hidden gold mine. The only question left is whether you're going to be one of the people who noticed early or one of the people who watches everyone else do it. If you're actually taking notes on this, drop a comment and tell me which one you'd try first. If this video gave you even one real idea, subscribing costs nothing, and it means you won't miss the next one, because there are plenty more businesses like these still sitting unopened in catalogs nobody checks. I'll see you in the next one.